2HP, the smallest company in Eurorack.
Greetings and welcome back. Today, we're covering some real classics in the 2HP lineup, our drum modules, kick, snare, and hat. I'm going to go over all the main functions and their features, timbres, and I'm going to patch them up and show you how great they sound and how usable they are. Let's start off with kick because our kick totally kicks. I've got my gate sequencer patched into trig and out at the bottom. This sounds reminiscent of a classic 808 kick, but we can easily go to more interesting timbral places with tone. The core of kick's synth engine is a clean sine wave, which we can manipulate and dirty up using the tone knob. Turning to the right, the pitch modulation index is altered on the sine wave. In other words, I'm adjusting the brightness of the transients on kick while keeping my sine wave clean. Then to the left of 12 o'clock, the pitch modulation index increases and a soft saturation is applied to the sine wave, which creates a more pronounced, harmonically rich kick sound. Our next knob down is decay, which takes our kick synth from a transient blip to a 15-second long ringing drum. So I'm going to open up decay by turning the knob on the right to hear those tone adjustments we just made. I'm going to keep decay up to showcase our next knob on kick, which is pitch. And as you can imagine, pitch controls the pitch of kick. So turn the pitch knob up to increase the kick frequency to high-pitched chirps and then down to bring it to massive 808 sub territory. And if you do have a sub in your system, kick will definitely make it shake. And you can see pitch has a 1 volt per octave input, which tracks across 5 octaves. So let's patch a quick bass line into kick to give our simple beat here a little melodic touch. Like its sibling kick, snare is all about the dramatic timbral range packed into a drum module. We're talking short blips to 909 hits and everywhere in between. And of course, it tracks 1 volt per octave just like kick does and has CV over everything. All right, let's have some fun here. First, let's get our simple gate sequence going on snare. With initial knob positions 12 o'clock all the way, it sounds just like a light, pitched up kick hit. Here's where you send gates or triggers, simple enough. Snap sets the tone and character of the snare drum. At the middle, it's a clean sine wave with pitch modulation index set to its minimum. To the right, noise is added into the signal and the pitch modulation index is moved to its maximum. To the left, noise is not added and the pitch modulation index is moved to its maximum, creating a snares off type sound. Let's hear how snap can sound with a little CV running through it. Let's listen to how this control works. You can hear how this controls the amount of time for the audio to decay into silence, and it can be as short as 10 milliseconds all the way up to 1.5 seconds. Of course, you can get melodic with snare. Send a volt per octave sequence right here, and suddenly it's a drum oscillator. Is that a thing? This sets the frequency of the drum. Hat is a hi-hat cymbal with a wild side. Finding something unique is just too easy with a blend of sounds ranging from robotic to metallic. At its core are 3 unique sound sources made up of 6 oscillators, a noise generator, and a number of filters. So we have sizzle, separate trigger inputs for open and closed hi-hats. This module is just fun. Closed hi-hats triggers the closed hi-hat sound. Open triggers the open hi-hat sound. Having control over these two allows for a complete hi-hat pattern out of a single module. decay controls the amount of time it takes for the audio to decay completely to silence. And the open hi-hat takes 5 times longer than the closed hi-hat to decay. Sizzle is a control of the timbral adjustment depending on where you've set the blend control, and there are 3. For the ring modulated source, sizzle controls the frequency of all 6 oscillators. For the noise, it controls the cutoff frequency of the filter on the noise. For the cymbal model, sizzle controls the brightness of the cymbal sound. Blend controls the mix of 3 different sound sources. These are the options that sizzle modulates. When set to the far left, we have a ring modulation of different groups of the 6 oscillators. When set to the middle, the signal is filtered noise. When set to the right, our signal is a set of 6 oscillators which are configured to model a cymbal sound. Okay, let's get this cooking with all 3 drum voices. All right, I'm going to step you through this one from scratch. Okay, so here's our 3 voices, and they're going to sig, my sequencer. I'm taking the clock out of sig and I'm multing it into chants, and then also into Nautilus, which we're going to play with here a little bit. I have the kick and the hat going out here with the purple cables to my interface, but the snare I'm running into Nautilus, which we're going to have some fun with. All right, a little more bounce on the kick, and I want to play with the decay on the hat, and that might be a fun one to send some CV to. All right, so we'll come out of decay into the digital output of chants. You see we've got some sweet variation on the hat now. All right, let's find some CV for sizzle. Yeah, let's use the stepped random coming from Nautilus, which I know is synced from the sequencer clock out. In a small case, I wouldn't set up these modules like this, with the spacing in between the 2 HP modules. I want to keep them clear and separated for these videos, just for instruction. All right, let's bring some CV from the sequencer. Channel 1 is running our kick drum. Let's take the CV from that and see what we can do with snare. And remember, snare is the one that's coming from Nautilus, which we're going to play with in just a minute here. These sliders on the SIG adjust the CV that's coming out. All right, let's bring in Nautilus where our snare is going. All right, I'd like to tweak this a little more. So if I take the wavetable from Chance, the wavetable CV, and I put it into resolution on Nautilus, we should get a nice little variation shuffle on our snare. Yep, there we go. On this example, I've got the same setup with the 3 triggers going to the 3 drums, but this time I'm using kick as an oscillator with its volt per octave coming from SIG, my sequencer. It's the non-percussion voice which you're hearing right now. The CV from channel 3 I have going into the reversal on qubit Nautilus. And speaking of Nautilus, since kick and snare are monophonic voices, I can send each drum voice into the same stereo effect here for more awesome stereoization of our drum patch. Hi-hat is going straight into my interface and it's getting CV from Chance into Sizzle. Let me explain the clock situation. I'm starting out with the stepped random sonar output on qubit Nautilus, so the rate, the resolution, is determined here. So out of my sonar into the clock of Chance, so that any of my CV from Chance is going to be in time. Oh my god, kick sounds incredible as a synth voice. I love that low end. If you like this video and you're looking for more 2HP in your life, why don't you subscribe and hit the bell? And stay tuned for more huge videos about small modules.
2HP, the smallest company in Eurorack.